Hi, everyone. My name is Lisa Booz. I am the math specialist at Island Elementary School, and I'm going to show you guys some ways that we can do some virtual number talks now that we are at home, at least for the time being. We have some outcomes and goals for this. We are going to recognize that number talks are still a valuable routine, even though we are in a virtual world. And we're going to explore some tech tools to make number talks hopefully manageable, beneficial, and hopefully engaging still for everyone. If you would like to, we will have a sandbox that we're going to be able to play in. We've done this PD a few times before, so there are some things that you can already go in. Anywhere from K to 8, there are already number talks already done that you can go in and look at. And this is the access code if you would like to go see that. But this is the agenda of how we're going to go through. Hopefully, you'll see a few things that you don't know and you'll learn. In order to really be effective with your number talks, please make sure that your students really have some understanding of number talks before you begin to go pure virtual. So what I mean by that is make sure that you really share and teach your expectations, your hand signals, go over some of the strategies beforehand. The talk moves piece is really more in how they respond to others so that they do it respectfully, critically, but with some kindness as well. So do all of that before they go virtual. And when I say go start live, it's okay to go low tech and simply put a piece of chart paper behind you and do it like that and simply give them a problem to do while you go through the expectations of the hand signals and so forth. It's also, I've seen some great things in using Jamboard and using some of the virtual whiteboard strategies. It's really your call, but make sure that you're starting live first before you go to some of the virtual tools that we're going to go through today. In order to do those lives, I did want to just share two extensions. One of them you guys have all seen before, but the Google Meet Grid, I know that there's been some problems with it. So please make sure that you follow the directions to uninstall all others. And that way you can really make sure that you see all more than 16 of your students. Another thing that we have seen is that while people are doing number talks, sometimes their computer will go to sleep because they're doing so much live chatting with the kids and they're not really worrying about the mouse and toggling. That there is a keep awake extension in Google Chrome that kind of in the background, they do kind of like a mouse jiggle. So that way it kind of keeps your computer awake at all times. So those are just some interesting Google Chrome extensions that you can use. All right, we're going to dive right into it. I figured that we would start with Schoology because that is what everyone is most comfortable with. So I'm going to jump right in to my Schoology sandbox that we have here. And I don't know how many of you have used discussions yet, but that is where we're really going to chat about just for this time. And to make a discussion, you simply go to add materials, or you know that you can go down and go for the green plus sign there. And I'm going to go to add materials and add discussion. Give my computer a moment here. And then it's up to you. I believe I have some dot images that are ready to go. And it's really your call on how much you have already trained your children. So I might say, how many do you see? How do you see them? So record yourself explaining how you see them. Respond to at least another person. Now, again, you might not have them responding yet. That is really your call. I'm going to go here and go ahead and insert an image. Now, if you have something that is just numerical, that is fine too. All right, so there's a due date. Now, you do not have to enable grading, but in this case, enabling grading actually lets you give feedback privately so that not everyone can see that. So that is really your call if you choose to grade it or not. When you go down to these, if you are a special educator or you are only giving a number talk to a small group, you can individually assign this. If you don't click this, it will send it to anyone in your course. Okay. You can lock it. So after a specific period of time, if they've already worked on it for that day and you don't want them to work on it again, then you can lock that so that it's still available for people to see, but no one else can work in that again. Of course, publish and unpublish. That will give you the availability if you'd like to make a month's worth or a few weeks worth. You can go ahead and do that and just don't publish them until you are ready. Now, this particular one here, it says members can see other responses before participating. I truly believe that this depends on your students, the age of your students, the class, the risk takers, and really your philosophy behind kind of those number talks. So, do you want students to be able to hear what others are thinking first? Sometimes you do. While other students will just copy what others say, sometimes copying and revoicing what they say is not a bad thing. That way, they have kind of that vocabulary that is starting to embed it in themselves. So, I leave that up to you whether you would like them to um, be able to see other responses ahead of time, or if you want to require them that they have to do their post first and then they can see others. So that's your call. Now, you do have the option to share this discussion into some of your other groups, but you can only share it if it's not going to be graded. The moment you say it's going to be graded, you cannot share it. However, you can copy it to other courses. So if you are a middle school teacher and you have two different algebra classes, or you have two second grade, or excuse me, two sixth grade classes that you want to share them to, you can do that. Just make sure that you have decided whether it is going to be graded or ungraded. All right, so I am going to go ahead and create that. And I will come down here. All right, this is what they will see. They will see the entire image. Now, if a student wants to respond to that, and you'll have to train them for this, but they will need to click their recording, and they have the option to do audio only or audio and video. It's really your call and what you ask them to do. The audio only and the audio video for that matter will be really nice for young children, that K to 2 that are really struggling still with writing, knowing their letters, but can still voice it incredibly. So maybe that would be a great option. And we know that we still have some older students that have a hard time getting kind of what's up here onto paper or onto the computer. So having that audio visual option is really going to be great for some of our children, not even just in math world, but all around. So that is how they will respond in the Schoology discussion. Kind of a nice way to be able to put out your number talks. All right. So that's kind of our easy route through Schoology. Now we are going to, here's our access code again, just in case you would like to see that. Now we're going to move on to FlipGrid. If you are using FlipGrid, you will need to do an educator's login after you've done your educator sign up. This does not take a student login. In other words, they don't have to make up their own account. They will need their email to get in to use the join code, but they don't actually need their own account. So I'm going to go ahead and use my educator's login. Now you will see lots of tabs up here. You can click through all of them. The discovery is actually really cool, but as a classroom teacher, discussion is where you are mostly going to be. Now you can see my groups here. There is a difference between groups and topics. Topics is something that would be kind of a standalone. In other words, maybe you have an icebreaker, or you just had one math problem, or maybe you had a paragraph that they needed to do, something along those lines. Groups is just what it says. It's a group of topics. So for today, we are going to create a group. I think that would be my suggestion as well if you are going to create a group. All right. So this join code is always going to be your last name, and then it's a random 4 letters or 4 numbers, I think. I'm just gonna put underscore. I don't think I can. All right, number talks. Now you want to make sure for Queen Anne's County that we always do this student email. We do not want username. They all have emails now, K to 12. So that's where we're going to go. Now, if you wanted to, and you will need to, you need to add QACPS as a domain for an email, and you also need to add student.qacps.org. This way. All right, that way they will be able to get into your domain. We're not going to share it at this time. All right, you can add a co-pilot. So if you are a classroom teacher and you wanted to add members of your team so everyone could see what you were doing, or you wanted to add a special educator, any of those is fine. You can add a co-pilot. They are able to actually review videos, create topics, and provide feedback as well. Now, when you go to add a co-pilot, you need to make sure that the email that you are using is an email that goes along with your co-pilot's FlipGrid account. So in our case, it would probably be at qacps.org, but you need to make sure that they actually have an account before you send that email. So check with your co-pilot first. All right, now we're going to go ahead and add a topic. And you could add however you would choose. I'm going to go ahead and say that which is greater. Let's see, 5/6 or 7/8. And I would say that I would go ahead and once you have it mentally, again, I put that feedback there, but that is really your call. A recording time, they can have up to 10 minutes, but you should probably set for a number talk some kind of lower expectation. I'm just going to put 2 at this time, and they will have to keep it under 2, but they can record as many times as they need to get it under that 2 minutes. All right, video moderation. So this really depends again on your class, on maybe the age group of your students. So new videos will be hidden from students until you activate them. Previously submitted videos will remain active. So if you want to be able to watch the videos before all the students can, you need to be able to moderate that. So you would need to click on that and make sure that you do so if you are at all worried about that. All right, you can record a video yourself, upload a video. You can use any of these things. I am not today just because of our time constraint. When I'm at home, adding a Giphy is always kind of fun. Students usually enjoy that. All right, I am going to create this topic. All right, if you would like to go ahead and see the student view, you are able to view as a student just by clicking on the code. They will join with Google. This is what I was saying about they need to click their name. And this is what it will look like to them. If you are worried that there is a lot of words and your readers aren't going to be able to read that, They have an immersive reader where that you can click on the book, and this immersive reader does a lot of things. So it can just
Which is greater?
play.
5, 6, or
it can also do some other things. It has some text preference options where it has size, spacing. It can change the font. It can also break it up in syllables, pick out the nouns and adjectives. We don't need that for today. It can also pick different languages. It can pick a line by line if you so choose. We can have it read in any language that you would like. Okay, I forgot to hit apply. So you do have to apply and so forth to be able to do that. But they'll be able to go ahead and do all of those things on their own just by hitting that little immersive reader that is next to the title of the topic. All right, when they want to record a response, they simply record the response. They do have some options. Sometimes I imagine they can get a little hidden in the woods here, but you have some options to upload your own clip, mirror, mute, record screen. They also have some effects here. Some of the students might want to put it up that they are in a picture frame of some sort. Maybe they want to be in the glitter. We were talking with another group and they stated that although this could put them as a little bit busy, it also might be good for some students because they get to be creative, that they can also kind of pick how they'd like to kind of look in all of this. And it might give them a little more confidence to really put it out there. So I think it could be good. So they will record. It gives them their time limit up here. Hi, I believe this one is greater because, and they will continue. They go to the next time limit up here. There you go. They always get to do a selfie. That will be what they put out for the FlipGrid and for everyone to see. I believe my computer, there it is, it's thinking. So now it will show up in just a moment that I have a response here. Hopefully if I refresh, it'll show up. There we go. And there is my response. On the teacher side of this, I am going to go back to my group, go down here to my topic. It does say that I have a response. All right, so I am going to click on that. There it is. And see how this little green circle is? That means that I have not seen that response yet. So I can go through here, look at my response, and I can add a comment. So my comment is going to be recorded the same way. Hi, I loved it. Great job. Don't forget to use your use of modeling. Well done. All right. And hi, I loved it. Great. Go right through. And I need to take a selfie. And theirs will be put right under. If your students have an actual email address, in other words, they can actually receive email. So this would be our 3 through really 12 students. Then you can actually go through to your feedback. You can record private feedback, or you can write comments, or you can do both. And you can email them. So you can email the feedback link. Our K to do students, because they don't actually physically receive email, this would be a little bit harder. You would need to email that feedback link to their teacher, to their parent, or figure out some other way to get them that feedback. But for our 3 to 12 students, it would be no problem giving them private feedback right through this record feedback or through the private comments. That way no other students would see it, only the person that you are responding to, which I think is kind of nice, especially if this wasn't a math talk and this was something like, hey, how's the school year going so far, or some kind of social emotional. lesson, I think it would go a little bit better that way. And I think that you can also, there is a rubric that you can do and you can edit and go through there. Please feel free. I am going to show you one other thing through here. If you go down to your topic, there is an option here to edit. And if you go down a little bit further, so if you want to freeze your FlipGrid, so you want it to be view only so the students can no longer continuously add, you can freeze it. You can also hide it. So you just don't want anybody to see it anymore. You can hide it right here in topic status. You can also put schedule dates. So you can schedule for just 1 day or 2 days, and you can schedule out for a whole month here as well. So please feel free to take care of that. And you may also want to, I turned off on mine the likes option. I just don't feel that this is a popularity contest and that anybody needs to be liking anyone's, but that is my personal opinion. It is your call, but I just don't feel that is necessary. The other one that you can either turn off or keep on, it says allow students to reply via video to another student. It's really up to you how your classroom climate is, how much training they've had, whether you want students to be able to give feedback to one another. So those are kind of those little ins and outs. Now, you have this FlipGrid, and now you want to be able to put it somewhere. So if you go to your share option and we copy the link, we can now go back to Schoology. We can go to add materials, link, click on our link, put in our link, and we're going to say number talk example. Here are all the same things that we have talked about before, and we are going to click add. And here's my number talk example. Now, one thing that you will have to train the students, if you have not done so, they are more than welcome to read it right throughout here. However, the moment they hit record a response, Schoology will not allow us to open up the camera inside of Schoology because they already have their own webcam system in there. So you will need to hit that external tool, which was right here, and open it up in FlipGrid. Okay, and then everything is the same, but they will need to hit that external tool. Okay, but everything else is good to go. So again, I took that share link, I came to Schoology, I said add materials, add file and link, and I put it right inside that link. Now, if you have any questions as you go through here, please feel free to contact me. I have enjoyed doing all of this. If you're afraid that K-2 can't handle it because there's so little, there is a getting started video for students, which could be for any grade level. There are also some integration documents here that we will send you. They're found on the blog, but they actually already have FlipGrids ready for all grade levels in all subjects that I think might help you as well. So that might be something that you're interested in. FlipGrid has a lot more that it can do than just number talks. But for this time around, we just wanted to show you how that could go through FlipGrid and Schoology. No matter what you do, any kind of math talk is always good. And we know that you guys are doing awesome and doing your best. And we appreciate everything that you're doing. So rock on, guys. Thank you so much.